Hello and welcome to Rockies Recap, a part of the Rockies Now podcast network. My name is Steven. Tom, how are you doing? How's your weekend?
Pretty good. It was a good showing down in LA. I got some work done around the house. The White Sox had a bad showing in Milwaukee, so we don't have to get into that though. But all in all, pretty good. Anyway, once again, happy birthday to you too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Got a lot of messages from our followers wishing me a happy birthday. So thank you on Instagram, Twitter, all that. Appreciate it. So far, it's been a good day. I think, yeah, this morning we got some donuts. My favorite donut is a donut that has chocolate icing on top with
Mhm.
sprinkles. That's the best. Honestly, like the best donuts for me. Again, we're going to talk about the Rockies in a second, but the best donut for me is like donuts that are actually not like Dunkin' Donuts or something you go to a donut. Even though Krispy Kreme is good, I understand that. I know a lot of people from the South or anywhere love Krispy Kreme. I'm on board. But
Mhm.
the best donuts are for like from coffee shops or like those a local private, donut places. That's my sort of thing. So yeah, I had donuts for breakfast, and then for lunch we had Panda Express. Love Panda. The orange chicken is. I know it's not real Chinese food. Okay, whatever. And then for supper we had plain old Taco Bell. Two bean burritos is all I need to survive. Bean burritos is life. Cake is life. That's coming up right after the show. So overall, again, a great birthday. Again, thank you everyone for wishing me a happy birthday. It's been an awesome day. But overall, it was a good weekend for our Rockies, despite losing 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. Tom and I, we were quickly talking about it before we started, but considering the Rockies only gave up the maximum runs they gave up in this series was 4,
Mhm.
and considering a all-star lineup of the Dodgers with Otani, even though he's been pretty bad over the last week or so, at
Mhm.
least, in terms of batting average or just hits in general, the Rockies, they did a really good job in shutting down that Dodger lineup. The Rockies pitching still looked pretty good, even though there was some concern with Austin Gomber today. Was taken out early. I didn't watch the entire game. I watched a little bits and pieces of it, but yeah, pitching was fine. Yesterday in Game 2, there was that misplay, and I think Tom just saw it right before we started. It was messy. Let's just say that. I think there was 2 errors in the game. Um, Other than that, I mean, it wasn't a horrible game. Again, it's nice to see there was no like blowouts or anything. The offense has struggled in this series, of course, in the last 2 games. But Rockies, as you can see, won Game 1 4-1. Really good game. Chris Bryant got a big knock to help the Rockies get on the board there. Ezekiel Tovar, man, and I know Tom was also talking about this in the meeting before we started that he's just on fire. He looks really really good at the plate, hitting 297 on the year. He's going to be so good. He's going to be an all-star eventually, soon. Tovar looks really good. So he got that home run against Walker Bueller. Um, and yeah, I mean, Quantrill, he looks good, even though, he was kind of taken out early yesterday. But Dakota Hudson looked really solid. And that's something that we've talked about multiple times this year is that this starting rotation, even though coming into the year, we thought that this was going to be the worst part of this team. It's actually been one of the better parts of the Rockies team. And so it wasn't a horrible series at all in my mind. Actually, it's a blessing in disguise to win at least one in Dodger Stadium because it's so hard to win there. As a matter of fact, the last time the Rockies won a game in Los Angeles prior to Friday was in 2022. So they got swept both times last year in LA. So I'll take it. The Dodgers, they're hot. They're second best team in the National League. You know what, Tom? I'll take it any day of the week. I'll take a win out of LA.
Absolutely. As you pointed out, against a quote unquote all-star-ish lineup of this Dodger team, only allowing 4 runs in the 2 losses definitely is a huge win in my book.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to comment here about Tovar. Yeah, I have his number. I have his recent numbers here. In the last 7 games, he's slashing 370, 414, and 556 slugging. So, and it's slightly lower for the last 15 games, but still, bottom line is he's again just like Ryan McMahon. He's making his case for a bid for an All Star appearance. Rymack, someone who's cold. Rymack, yeah, he's in terms of the batting average, he's cooled off a bit. He's only batting 208 in the last 7 games. He's still getting on base with a 345 pace, and he's slugging only 333 with only 1 home run in the last 7 games. So, but again, it's like the famous saying goes: you get hot and cold in shifts. And right now, Tovar's in a slump. I'm sorry, McMahon's in a slump. Tovar's on a hot streak, so they're kind of kind of even each other out a little bit. But as you also, we all talked in the pregame meeting, Otani, he's talking about cold. Ooh, he is struggling the last week and a half. But he's Shohei Otani. He's in the prime of his career. His OPS right now is 988. Oof. So it
Mm,
just goes to show you. But yeah, to me, this the offense had some good. Again, the Aaron game too. Just someone really couldn't get anything going today in game three. But most overall, especially game one, we had some timely hitting. Again, Tovar was the man of this series. He had 3 hits in game one and two. Um, Dakota Hudson, that was a fan. We need to start like that. That
yeah.
is, especially with given the bridge for the pitchers. You go Hudson goes 7, Vodnik, my guy, goes 2 thirds of an inning, and Beeks gets a 4-out save. That's how a ideal way you want to draw it up. Starter, bridge, closer, you're done.
Mm.
And but again, all in all, like I said, great series. I am just hoping there's nothing really truly bad with Austin Gomber's elbow.
Yeah, because Tom mentioned to me before we started, because I kind of forgot that he had the same problem last year. He was, there was a couple times we had to be taken out of the game, and I
Mhm,
think, because again, he was supposed to start at Coors Field against the Guardians
mhm,
during the week, and the Rockies scratched him, and I think that might have been part of the reason. Of course, Gomber was like, you know what, we're at a point of the schedule where I could use a day off, but I'm assuming that probably sometime during the week he kind of felt something in there, and he probably
mhm.
felt it again today. It's something that you don't want to see. Now, obviously, we hope
No,
that it's not nothing too serious, because the Rockies really can't afford another pitching injury. But I mean, Marquez is coming back pretty soon, hopefully in the next month or so. But yeah, like Gomber, man, he's been arguably our best pitcher. I mean, his ERA is right around 3 now.
mhm,
Quantrill still looks good. I mean, like I said, he wasn't bad yesterday. Just that those 2 errors really cost the Rockies, kind of cost him there as well. And the Rockies had to go to the bullpen kind of early. Same thing today. Thankfully, Lambert did a really darn good job of holding to the Dodgers a little bit there, and so that was nice. But again, there's nothing really to, I guess, complain about or really be upset about, because again, it's just like, this is a Dodger team that really could have swept us like
mhm,
nothing, and I was kind of worried about that. And going into this series, I'm like, Walker Bueller, we've not really done well against him, especially in Dodger Stadium. I'm like, I don't know about this. But Rockies got to him early. And Walker Bueller, he didn't look really well on Friday night.
mhm.
He walked, like, I think 3 or 4 guys, and he had to be. He pitched 6 innings, which was remarkable. Of course, it's Walker Bueller, but was it 4 innings?
4 walks, 6 innings.
Four walks in. Okay, there we go. Yeah, but yeah, it was not. It's nice to get a win out of LA, and the Rockies are going to be home at Coors Field tomorrow for a 3-game series against the Reds. Then they have to head back on the road to, I believe, St. Louis. That's the thing I hate about the new schedule, or especially this schedule right here. It's like,
Mhm,
that's got to be tough. I always hate that. Like, if I was a player, I would hate that. Like, first you have a 6-game homestand at Coors Field, then you have a 3-game series on the road, then you have to head back to Coors Field just for 3 games, then head back on the road. It's just like, like, their bodies are, I feel for the players again. It's just like, that's kind of stupid. It's whatever. I mean, I wish that they could have just fixed something around to where the Dodgers were at Coors Field, and the Rockies could go to Cincinnati, and then had that long stretch of road games there. But whatever. I'm not in Major League Baseball doing the schedules, but I feel bad for the players. It's just kind of, it's weird. I mean, only 3 games at Coors Field, then you have to go back on the road. Just like, whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, looking ahead into the schedule as we wrap up the show tonight, because I got stuff to do, eat some cake tonight. But as we head into tomorrow's game, there were Cincinnati Reds. They're kind of like surprisingly, Tom. I mean, in our preseason predictions, we kind of had the Reds as a team
mhm.
that were like, oh, this is going to be a postseason type team, like, especially what happened last year. Ellie De La Cruz gets called up. Spencer Steer, Matt McLean. I mean, those guys were so exciting last year, and this year they're kind of like not so good as they were last year, at least to start the year. I'm looking at my phone here. It looks like, did they play today? Um, yeah, they did. They did beat the Reds, but they're 26-33, so not horrible. But it's just like, they're probably not having the start that they wanted to. So the Reds, I feel like they're starting to get hot, especially after what I've seen over the last few days, because I've caught a few of the Reds games on TV or on my phone, whatever. But it's always interesting. I feel like whenever the Reds come to Coors Field, it's always like a big series. It's always a battle. because I feel like that's always happens at Coors Field. I'm a little bit worried about Ellie De Cruz because back in spring training, hit like a 500-foot home run against us in spring training, and in spring training they were super aggressive offensively, and I imagine that's what they're going to do at Coors Field, and obviously as a younger team and a lot of offensive guys and prospects, they're going to be pretty aggressive tomorrow in the series. So for the Rockies, really, you just hope that they can silence their bats. I mean, their pitching overall, going to the month of June has been great. We needed that to continue. Let me see tomorrow. So tomorrow's game will be at 6:40 against the
Mhm.
Reds. Let me see the starter here. Ryan
Uh,
Feltner will get the start for the Rockies, and I believe that's Andrew Abbott for the
mhm,
Reds. Um, Abbott's having a good year, 3-5 with a 3.29 ERA, 46 strikeouts. Ryan Feltner 1-4, 546, 49 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean, again, name of the series for me is to kind of limit those hitters, keep pitching well, use home field advantage. The Rockies are playing a lot better at home than they have on the road, obviously. And the Rockies, again, it's weird to say that they were above 500 in the month of May, considering the start. They were like 7-22 to start the year, and then in the month of May they were like 14-13 or 14-12. Yeah, it was
mhm.
14-13,
14,
and
13, yeah.
of course they're now 0-2, a little bit worrisome. But and I'll say this too, because I know this is kind of a thing in the Rockies world, is they call it the June swoon. I don't believe it, because you go back to 2017, 2018, the Rockies really never had, well, maybe in 2017 they had that losing streak a little bit, but I don't believe in the June swoon. I really don't. I think last year the Rockies actually did okay in the month of June, maybe except a couple of series, but I don't believe the June swoon at all. So you know what, I'm hopeful that the Rockies can kind of continue this, and at least we're not the worst team in baseball. I mean, the Marlins, the White Sox, the Angels. Oof,
Mhm.
I feel bad because they had a decent start. The Angels did, and then
Mhm,
now they're starting to fall apart. And let's just say that, like, just be nice to the Angels. So, but anyways, I think, guys, that will do it. Again, thank you so much for the happy birthday comments. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for our Rockies recap coming up this week at Coors Field against the Cincinnati Reds. Tom and I will have you covered for that.
mhm.
Uh, Again, stay followed to our social media pages on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and all that stuff, and YouTube as well. As always, go Rockies.